The vanishing heir. Detective James Holloway had seen it all: gruesome murders, impossible heists, and high-stakes political scandals. But nothing intrigued him more than the case that arrived on a rainy evening at his London office. A frantic woman burst in, her rain-soaked coat clinging to her trembling frame. "Detective Holloway, you must help me," she pleaded. "My brother, Edward Harrow, has vanished without a trace." Edward Harrow was no ordinary man. He was the sole heir to the Harrow fortune, one of the wealthiest families in England. His disappearance meant more than just personal loss, it threatened an empire. James leaned forward. "Tell me everything, Miss Harrow." "He was last seen 3 nights ago at Harrow Manor. I found his bedroom door locked from the inside, but he was gone. The window was open, but there were no footprints outside. It's as if he vanished into thin air." A locked room mystery. James relished the challenge. "I'll take the case," he said, grabbing his coat. Chapter 2: Shadows of Harrow Manor. The sprawling Harrow Manor loomed under the stormy sky, its Gothic architecture whispering of secrets long buried. As James entered, he was greeted by the butler, an elderly man with weary eyes. "We have not disturbed Master Edward's room since his disappearance," the butler said. Inside, James examined every detail. The bed was neatly made, his books in perfect order, except for one missing volume from a set. The window was open, but the curtains were undisturbed. Odd. He turned to Miss Harrow. "Did your brother have enemies?" She hesitated. "Not enemies, but he was worried lately. He mentioned something about the silent witness. I didn't understand what he meant." "The missing volume." James scoured Edward's study, where bookshelves lined the walls like sentinels guarding secrets. He quickly spotted the missing book, a rare edition of The Silent Witness, resting on the desk. Flipping through the pages, he found a handwritten note: "He watches from the dark. Trust no one." James frowned. Who was he? And why was Edward afraid? Just then, a sharp knock echoed through the house. A messenger had arrived with a sealed letter. James opened it and read aloud. "Leave the case, Detective Holloway, or you'll be the next to disappear." Miss Harrow gasped. James simply smirked. The game had begun. The secret passage. Determined to uncover the truth, James revisited Edward's room. He tapped along the wooden panels, listening for a hollow sound. And then, click! A section of the wall shifted, revealing a narrow passage. Torch in hand, he stepped inside. The air smelled of damp stone and secrets. The passage led downward into darkness, eventually opening into a hidden chamber beneath the manor. Inside, James found a table covered in documents, financial ledgers, property deeds, and letters from someone named R.W. Suddenly, the door slammed shut behind him. Footsteps echoed. Someone was coming. The man in the shadows. James flattened himself against the wall as a figure entered, a tall man with piercing eyes. He held a pistol. "You're meddling where you shouldn't, Detective," the man sneered. James raised an eyebrow. "And you are?" "Richard Westwood, Edward's business partner. And soon, the sole owner of the Harrow Empire." James smirked. "You underestimated Edward, didn't you? He knew you were after his fortune." Westwood's grip on the pistol tightened. "Where is he?" James stepped forward. "That's what I'd like to know." Suddenly, the hidden passage swung open again. A disheveled Edward Harrow stumbled in. "You should have killed me when you had the chance, Westwood," he rasped. The truth unveiled. Edward had survived, hiding in the underground tunnels after Westwood's attempt on his life. He had staged his disappearance to buy time, knowing James would uncover the truth. With a swift move, James knocked the pistol from Westwood's hand. The butler, who had been watching from the shadows, tackled him to the ground. By morning, Westwood was in police custody, and Edward reclaimed his life. As James lit his pipe, Miss Harrow smiled. "How did you know he was still alive?" James exhaled. "Because dead men don't leave warnings behind." Another case closed. But for James Holloway, the hunt never truly ended.